Hello, SpeedGaming 5. We are in the semifinals of the SMZ3 tournament here at SpeedGaming Live Online 2022. We've got Osse and Bressingham. Osse, the number 9 seed, Bressingham, the number 13. Say they're a fair bit underseeded just because of how the groups shook out. They're both very good runners. Osse has been the reigning champion of SpeedGaming Live at SMZ3 for the past 2 years. So we'll see if he'll still be in contention for making it 3 in a row going on to the finals, or if Bressingham is going to maybe advance instead. They did match up in SGL last year, I believe. Don't remember exactly where. I am Azure. I'll be calling this race. And we are off. Osse playing with the Dark Samus palette. I think Bressingham is using the Hypermetric palette. It's pretty cool. So some changes from previous years of this are, I think with version 11.3 of the randomizer, we have a lot of new options. Biggest one that we're using in this tournament is Fast Cannon from A Link to the Past. Is now actually part of this. So they do not have to climb Ganon's tower, and logically nothing is going to be in there that is going to be required to be the seed anyways. I think we had all 3 crystals in the light world from the map checks. Yeah, we've got a red crystal at Eastern. So one of the other changes that was not actually shown on that map check is we have the SM boss tokens as boss rewards mixed into the pool. So they can end up as the rewards for Link to the Past dungeons now. It is still weighted so that most of the time you'll still have to defeat the 4 SM bosses, but there can be, less common occasions where you've got some pendants in Super Metroid. Both of them going to take the uncle route. Got some bombs to help get all of the checks in Kakariko. Now, Bressingham is going to go up and get the crab prize and probably the extra tree pull and do the lumberjack check. And it looks like Osse is just going to go straight into the Lost Woods. Yeah, this is 774. Yeah, one of the other things we now have the option to do in SMZ3 is lower the amount of crystal counts and SM bosses required. But we are probably not going to be doing that for the bigger tournaments. .553 has had a bit of traction in the weeklies. It's kind of interesting playing in the lower crystal counts, but there's a lot more variance in it. Oh, and we have hard logic for Super Metroid this year. That's actually a fairly big difference. It's just not a new thing to the randomizer, so I kind of forgot about it. So Osse coming out a little ahead of these checks because of not deterring to lumberjack. I believe it was nothing on the ledge. Ace, our tracker today, confirming that it's an E-tank on the ledge. Yeah, thanks to A0 for tracking this match, even though he's not really had to do anything yet. Really not anything too substantial so far. We're getting some rupees here and there. 50 rupees in the well is nice padding, making sure you can... Well, Osse is going to actually pass up on the bottle bender for now. Has 125 rupees. So I think wants to prioritize buying bombs. Bressingham has more rupees, actually, because the crab drops blue rupees. So he's going to be able to get the bottle bender at him, no problem. It is Morphball. Okay, that's actually pretty big that Osse is passing the for right now, unless he gets enough rupees to go back for it very soon. That's crazy. We also did see an Ice Beam in the Chicken Hut. Ice Beam is a lot more logically important in hard logic because of all the things in Suitless Meridia that it can open up. Yeah, interesting. Osse's playing this fairly aggressively so far. It's still really early to make judgments like that, but he's like Osse is really good at both games. Generally has execution advantage. Like if he doesn't have execution advantage in one game, he probably has it in the other by enough that it's really difficult for anyone else to beat him. Bressingham though has like Osse recently got a 43-minute any percent Super Metroid time, actually down to low 43 now, 43.17. With the knee route. Bressingham has a 44 old route, which is really impressive, and it's kind of a different skill set, but you can argue that it's like almost a harder time to get 44 old route than it is to get 43 new route. I think Osse is stronger on the Link to the Past side. Bress has put a bit of time into like the speedrun for Link to the Past, but not heavily focused on it, I think. Wait, Osse didn't actually buy bombs. That is okay. I thought he was saving the money to buy bombs, but he didn't actually do that. So he's just holding on to this 100. Doesn't have the Morphball from Bottle Bender. Is going to walk to Agena, which is like one of the more thorough plays to make this early on, and it makes it makes a lot more sense to do this without having really gotten anything from Kakariko. Because when that early game is dry, you're going to need to get either your SM progression or your Dark World access from somewhere, and like Agena sucks to do this early. There's so many things that could make it better later. You can get flute, you can get boots, but it really sucks to leave there if it is like the one thing that you need. Oof, Bress got Bress. I think that's like a frame perfect bomb throw where it looks like it hits the ground, but its altitude value is actually like 255 on that frame, so it doesn't kill the Moldorm. So we got boots from in there, and I think some supers. So Bressingham's going to have boots advantage for a bit. Actually, these boots are going to allow him to set up the boots type of water walk, so he can get the items out of Waterfall Cave. Basically, sequence breaking this requires either boots or the Moon Pearl. There was one power bomb early on. I think it was in the Lost West hideout. But yeah, Bressingham is gonna he set up that water walk with the boots. Basically having like dashing along the edge of a pit does weird things, and if you leave the scene without interrupting that dash, or like without canceling it manually, like the transition down out of the screen can interrupt it and leave you in this state that lets you water walk. That was not ideal, though. That sucks. I don't think I saw him get to the waterfall cave items. I think what happened is he wanted to go peek the Zora ledge item first, or maybe he did get them. I wasn't paying enough attention, but he bonked by accident and lost his water rock state. No, meanwhile, Osse is just kind of gunning for an early Eastern play. Actually, did Osse buy bombs from the like Hylia shop? Or maybe Osse just got all the bombs from Saha's closet like Bressingham did. Okay, so he bought them, but he could have, I think, gotten up to 10 anyway, so that's kind of unfortunate. There's still like a ton of game left, but not really going his way so far. Interesting that Bressingham is doing this play too. Maybe expecting Osse to favor doing this early Eastern dip, or maybe hoping he can spike something to get an advantage in this matchup that he thinks is less likely to win. I'm not sure which it is, but it's a little like, it depends what's here, I guess, but it could have been a big like 2-3 minute time save for Bress to just run away with that morph ball, because he actually has that option, whereas Osse doesn't. The thing about jumping straight into Super Metroid, though, is that doing the Brennstar Loop on only 5 PBs is really rough, and you're often in situations where you have to spend forever farming, or you'll have to compass for last item in Eastern. So I believe that means they're leaving an item on Armos. But yeah, you either have to spend a lot of time farming, or you have to pass up certain checks and hope that you don't get punished too bad for routing them in later. So maybe Bress is trying to avoid that. Now Osse going back to cleaning up the more traditional checks. But I guess, yeah, maybe the play for Osse was to see if he could spike bombs at Aegina or something like that, or at the dam, before committing to the purchase of the bombs. Which is kind of heads up in a way that you're thinking like a couple steps ahead. I don't know too many people that would handle it like that. But missing the morph ball is kind of sucking for him so far. It's not really the end of the world, because morph ball is one of those things that there's a very good chance that you're going to be gated by it early, and you won't lose too much time because you'll be forced to go back for it pretty quickly. And then you have a larger amount of time later in the seed to catch up from that setback. Bressingham doing escape, or friend of escape. I kind of don't like calling this escape just because. Oh, nice moon pearl in the map chest. I believe that is going to be the only thing in logic here because they don't have lamp or glove or any way to access the Hyrule Castle key to put the rest of the stuff in logic. Now, unlike the Morph Ball, the Moon Pearl needs to be paired with a bunch of other items for Dark World access to significantly progress you. As Morph Ball is just kind of the one thing. But pretty often there's like a dichotomy in SMZ3 states between whether you're going to get early Morph or whether you're going to get early Pearl, and then the other one's going to be buried in the other game. But we got of the progression orbs quickly. Still probably going to be favoring SM required for progression right now, but this Pearl was a pretty good play. Or it is pretty fortunate for him because I think you could potentially go to Super Metroid and be stuck into doing all the checks you have there for a long time and easily miss this. Especially since like there's no logical incentive, I would say, to do Hyrule Castle. So that happens, I'll just sell that confirms an item in Dark Cross. And we're finally going to see some Super Metroid. Actually, Osse, having not checked the Lumberjack previously, is going to do that right now with the boots because it pairs well with Bonk Rocks, and like once you have the boots, which is required for getting this item later, you are much more incentivized to want to know what this is. So Bressingham making the play of going down Red Tower right away, which I think is a pretty good play to make on only 5 power bombs. So, because the checks here are things that are pretty on path, but don't require too many power bomb uses. Actually, it does require a fair amount. Osse finally getting the Morph Ball from Bottle Bender, I think, kind of ran out of logical things to do. Yeah, there's actually a fair amount of power bomb usage required here, but you've got these zeros that are near guaranteed to drop you power bombs. The problem with the deepest part of the Prince Star loop is your best bet for power bomb drops there are 4% chance from Zebs. And Bressingham found a flute at alpha power bombs. So that puts the let's say that puts the mountain in logic, but it was already in logic from Morph Ball. Also going to pass up that red boomerang at Bomb Torizo. Also new to this version is the Varia tweak that wakes up Bomb Torizo upon collecting whatever item is there, instead of it having to be specifically bombs. Personally, I liked the quirk of kind of the randomizer showing you exactly how the vanilla behavior checks for it, even if it is a bit weird. But now you have a decision on whether you pick up that item. And red boomerang not required for anything at all logically. I think it is really nice for the menu. We've got Bressingham setting up early X-ray with the damage boosts, not in logic, without any items to assist with this, and gets it very nicely. Actually, no, I lied. He's got Ice Beam. I can't remember I think Ice Beam is not one of the sufficient things to put it in SMZ3 hard logic. I think it's more of a SM randomizer league thing. I always forget some of the specifics of the X-ray logic in this. But in SMZ3, at the very least, it's either 5 E-tanks or 2 plus Meridia for leniency on the spike damage. And I think what was there was not important. I didn't quite see it. It was one of the males. The other one's at Bonk Rocks. I guess Bressingham has not been there. So Osse doing the more traditional forward Brinstar loop. And like at the very least, if you're gonna do Brin loop right now, you want to do it in this direction on 5 power bombs. You have a chance at maybe getting some more in this early area where you get the refill from the B-toms. Oh, Osse opening, pre-opening both of those doors. Nice 3 super crate entry from Bressingham. More advanced older at strat. I think Osse picked up silvers at the Edakun supers. So yeah, Bressingham's route is just go down Red Tower, do Kraid, which don't think anyone like the weird thing about the new boss token thing is you sometimes want to know if you're gonna have a pendant boss in SM. The way you check for that is you have to open up the map in the region that the boss is in. But for Kraid, since Kraid is so quick to do and guards 3 items that are quick to get, the meta is basically you're gonna do it whether it's a pendant or not. So there's little point in checking the Brinstar map. And it is the Ridley boss, which is, you know, one of the required things, just as long as it's not a pendant. It gets rewarded with the hammer, so that is now a significant part of the Dark World Access package. So, like, this isn't going to be in a hard place to find at all for Osse. Grapple at Big Pink Top Missile. So that that makes the X-ray check free and also in logic at this point. The nice thing about it is that Bressingham did it very quickly and cleanly and did not waste time to it at all. Not having a grapple. We've got Samaria and Flippers at the bottom of Big Pink. Osse also laying that power bomb in a spot where it doubles up as breaking the block on the way to Spore Spawn as well. So he's gonna need another one to get out, but or not. He's gonna need the one remaining PV he uses here to get out, and that should be fine. And if you lay this power bomb high, you can open the door to the wave gate as well. So he's done a good job conserving power bombs here. Briefly had stopped in the Firefly room on the way to the Brinstar missile station to get an extra PB to make sure that he could do all this. And of course, as we're basically done in Pink Brinstar, we finally get a second pack of PBs on his end. Bressingham has 10 as well. I actually didn't see where he got that extra pack. But it's somewhere Osse is gonna run into on this path of things that you basically have to do no matter what. Create missile. Okay. Yeah, so Bressingham is going to have an advantage in terms of more leniency on powerbomb routing when he does the Brinstar loop. He's also going to want to probably route in blue Brinstar, and the extra PV pack at Wavegate should make that a lot more comfortable. Because Bress has already done the red tower stuff, so he isn't going to want to come out here again. Bress also, as far as he knows right now, has a potential Brinstar skip on the table, which can be a pretty big time save if you manage to jet through the rest of the seed and get your go mode before that. But we've got Samaria and Flippers. Osse hard committing to picking up the item at X-Ray. It's pretty early in the seed, so even a trash item would help you. And trying to do this really tight wall jump to get out without having to use a bomb. And using grapple to both equip it and also shoot the door faster. So you don't have to wait for the shot to travel all the way to the door on the 0 speed that you're shooting the shot from. Grapple is weird because, like, the longer you hold the button for, the further it extends. That's not how your normal beam works. So it's a bit weird to get used to using it on doors that way, but there's a lot of places where that's faster. So Bressingham had checked the ice beam area and didn't find anything worth keeping. I think there's a super there, which can be pretty good, but wants to save the travel time and the health back. Old man's got a 300 rupee, so that's good for money requirements if they end up needing to do Zora. I guess Zora is kind of isolated now because they checked all the surrounding things. Actually, no, I think Bressingham missed Waterfall Cave. I'm still not completely sure if he missed Waterfall Cave or not. So that could be helpful for Zora. Okay, we've got Pendant, Swamp, Repeat. Yeah, we need Swamp. Got Pendant Mire and Pendant Pod. And the other red crystal is at Ice Palace. So Mirror and Flipper is potentially not required. Samaria is required for Turtle Rock, so the Brinstar skip will not be possible. Bressingham will have to go there at some point. But it is something, like, depending on the seed, it's a viable strategy to try and leave Brinstar skip in your back pocket, especially against a really strong player. Bress has got a very saturated Link sprite. Osse gets the hammer from Kraid. And Bress is going to activate that flute that was in... Where was that? Was that at high jump? Alpha PVs. I don't remember if Bress did a Genus Cave, but that's a very easy cleanup of it now. Okay, yeah, he's going straight there. It looks like he is, like, autopiloting to thinking Mireshed for some reason. Tried to pick up the Black Rock. There's the way some of those slopes are constructed with if there's a ledge above it, they have a flat part to it that's really easy to convince yourself that you're not going to hit the flat part of it when you dash. So Bress is reset to the ship and taking a ship refill for that one extra power bomb, and also filling the reserve tank for potential hell runs later. We have 5 E-tanks expected for most of the hell runs in hard logic. They're mostly 4 in the randomizer league, but there are some things in like SMZ3 hard logic that have like a bit of added leniency compared to that for just to like better accommodate some of the people that are a bit more on the Zelda side. But then there are some questionable things like stutter 3 tap and pantry. Oh, nice save. Going 3 caramel blocks deep and still managing to jump out before they formed. Probably owing to the quick drop that he got through the first caramel blocks. It's just vanilla gauntlet, the 2 vanilla missiles there, so wouldn't have missed anything big, but that's a big panic moment. He reacted to that really well. So Wreck Ship is in logic and hard with basically nothing except for supers and power bombs, which are forced to be in Sphere 1 anyways. So CWJ is an expected trick to get across the moat. It's very rarely ever ends up actually being required, though, just because there's so many items that can circumvent it. And I just remembered grapple is available. Bressingham's going to run into that. So grapple is an easy way to get to the wreck ship. Like one of the things is just that, like, if you're going to wreck ship and you're planning on full clearing it, you kind of want some better movement items in some cases. To make stuff like sky missiles less of a pain, which grapple doesn't really solve. Ice can arguably make that a bit easier to like freeze one of the trippers, but I think whatever you can do with ice, you can also do without it. It's just harder. But it's like at the very least, you've got grapple to make sure you get across them at first try and don't get walled at CWJ for a while. That's something you really want to avoid in a race. It's not, I think it's not so big a deal in just SM by itself, because you have fewer options generally in those. So it's a bit less likely that, like if you're doing a CWJ, it's a bit less likely that there is a better option, especially since, like, without the Zelda save and quit system, you have to really hard commit to the choices you're making, more so. So Osse's making the wreck ship flee first, while Bress is cleaning up the Brinstar loop. Now, because Bressingham missed Waterfall Cave, he's more likely to go back to check Zora earlier. I think he might have the money for that by the time he gets out of Super Metroid. But it's seeming like the progression has to be in Wreck Ship right now. I don't think we know of enough E-Tanks and Logic to... Oh, that's an unfortunate Powerbomb placement for Bress. Just one tile away from... Oh, was Varia on the Zorlich? I did not catch that. Okay, that changes the weight of that. So they're basically both going to go back there and get it. So Osse, knowing where Varia is choosing to do Wreck Ship without it first anyways, which it would just help here for safety, and that's it. I mean, Spiker Room of Death is a thing, but a lot of people save scum that anyways, so that it's not the end of the world if you die. But they're gonna, or at least Osse is going to put off Upper Norfair for later. So I guess the progression could be in that direction and not Wreck Ship. Because I think we just barely don't have enough tanks and logic for Norfair Hell runs. Oh, Osse didn't scout the ledge. Okay. I was getting the impression from reading chat that they had both seen it. But I didn't even know it was there, so I couldn't confirm that. Okay, so if he doesn't know that, then that is... I'm surprised he hadn't seen the ledge. Fantune is Crystal 4. Actually, we already know that all the SM bosses are required, because we saw a map check with all 3 dependents. Boss patterns are not seeded in SMZ3, no. As Deer Force intended. So maybe this difference in knowledge is going to be interesting. But Osse may have purposefully not looked at Zora Ledge to incentivize going back for Zora more when the time was right. Okay, Osse going to do the sponge bath bomb jump. Second try. Very nice. It's not too difficult, but it's pretty unintuitive how it works. I think the hardest part about it is that it very much matters at what point in the bomb's radius you get knocked upward. And that actually means that you want to lay it a bit lower so that you can make sure you can jump back up high enough to it before it goes off. It's a bit counterintuitive. Nice near route edit from Osse. Not making it through any of the work robots, though. Maybe he wants to conserve health. Not want to play around with the sparks too much. Gets bombos out of it. Medallions in SMZ3 are weird to find because it can often be a really, really long time before you know how useful any of those are. So Osse is gonna have to go for Sky Missile now. I think Osse unequipped Isa at some point. So is not going to use it here. Going all the way back to this tripper on the right, to be able to wall jump off of the... Oh, that's unfortunate. I mean, as far as execution mistakes go. I haven't really looked much into how to do the fast setup for this, so I guess that's how you do it. And it was pretty well done, just didn't get the shot to reveal the item at the end. Missed the wall jump up there. One of the things you can do is beam shots. Is you can graze a wall along the edge of it. And it's a pretty lenient window to do that. The beam will travel all the way along the wall, and it will hit whatever shot blocks or reveal whatever items are in the wall. That's really useful for the item in the Mama Turtle wall, for instance. I think that's a lot of... I see some players who aren't aware of that mechanic that end up having trouble getting that item because of it. It's really good to know. So that's what he was going for from below, but it's falling and didn't line up the shot correctly. Moon Pearl was in the Hyrule Castle map chest. Was the only thing in logic there. And Morph Ball was on Bottle Bender. Osse actually missed Bottle Bender for a little bit because of wanting to save money to buy bombs. So I had to make an extra trip to get it. Bress finding garbage on Zora, but picking up that Varia that he knew about. Osse seeing from below that there is garbage at Wreckship Reserve, which is good to not have to come back for. It did the check from below, which can be scary on low health, since you have to wall jump past the spikes. And it's really easy to... if you press away from that spike wall at the wrong time, you'll wall jump check the collision for the spikes and you'll get hit. It's actually kind of tricky to avoid doing that. Where is Bressingham gonna go now? Did we get Shovel from Bluebryn? Yeah, I think we did. I think there was a mushroom there as well. I think we saw a mushroom check from somebody. Oh, getting both 50-50s from the Grove bomb bushes. Actually, the powder is interesting because hammer was early, and hammer has a really hard time being useful without like either Dark World access or the mirror. Spike Cave needs a glove, which is very easily forgotten for that. Oh yeah, we get to see the hyper Varia, which means we'll get to see the Pepsi ball. Actually, kind of sad that Hyper Metroid speedruns just get gravity right away. So you never get to see the Pepsi ball for Varia. So I think Osse has Osse not cleaned up Blueburn? I forget what the idea is here. I thought he had, but no, map says that he didn't, which makes sense from him having done yeah, because he did Pink Burn immediately. X-Ray was checked and has X-Ray has a male upgrade. Breast did the deboosts to it. Grapple was in Big Pink, which Osse went to first, so Osse didn't have to do that. But X-Ray is off the table for everyone. Don't have to worry about it. Although I think actually chat is probably referencing a qualifier for the in-person tourney that I did not see. That's what I think I'm gathering now. Nice Phantom kill. Wasn't counting rounds, but looked like it could have been a 2-round type of kill. So Bress also choosing Wreck Ship over Norfair, despite actually being the person that has the Varia knowledge. They're kind of retracing each other's steps at this point, but Osse is going to have to make some divergence soon because I think he's done all the things. Aside from that, is out of options. Should have enough rupees for Zora. I feel like he goes Zora because you just jump right out of the Hylia portal here. He doesn't know the ledge. It's a bit more incentivized. Oh, he's at 492 rupees. That is... maybe he goes for the 5 rupees and the crab, if he remembers that that's a thing. Or no, he's going to do the shovel check. Because, yeah, he just came from Blue Run, has all those fetch quests to do. I don't think anyone went to Magic Bat, but checking a bottle with Magic Bat is, like, it sucks to go to Kakariko without, like, as a dead-end kind of trip. But if you're getting 2 things out of it, 2 things with, each kind of, like, very specific logical paths to them, seems fairly valuable. It looks like that's what he's doing. Oh, flute activation. Okay, yeah, the fact that he got the flute much later is actually paying off for Osse in this instance, because now he's just pairing the flute activation with this. And like the flute activation, at least earlier on, is something you can justify just simply doing. You're gonna... It'll buy you back that time later. Unless you're really close to go mode where you've already beaten Myra, don't need it or whatever. Myra is a pendant in the seed as well. Breast's not going for any strats to clip through work robots either. Kind of tricky. I'm a bit more surprised he's not doing it because he's got Varia and more energy. Although maybe he didn't. Maybe I never kept up on whether he put time into Hundo or not. So the Sick Kid, Magic Bat, Routin, not paying off. Bressingham checking Rockship Reserve from the top, which is safer and easier, although has Varia to tank the spike. But it's probably easier to not mess it up this way anyways. I keep forgetting about this graphical glitch playing out the map when you're powdering the... I actually don't know how this works. Is it during when you're powdering the glitch? Anyways, Breast's doing Sky Missiles the simple-minded way that I would have done it. I never really looked into this strat. The trippers here don't move off screen, so it's like it can have both advantages and disadvantages. You just have to kind of be aware of that. That's why you follow the bottom one like that to get it to move to the right. Not the bottom one, the middle one, the one that starts far left. So Osse getting his Pepsi ball, which is not a Pepsi ball for him. We just got Varia on the Osse side just now on Zora Ledge. Breast got it a little while earlier. Had knowledge of it earlier. But yeah, so now we're kind of evened out. Osse hasn't done the Ice Beam checks yet, which I didn't realize. So is not going to save scum these. Is going to get to keep that super, actually. And Ice Beam is actually the platforming item that they... Bressingham? Hello? Oh, he probably pre-checked that before going for the other thing. Both runners failing to grapple on the way back from the moat. It's one of the key parts of doing that is remembering that you actually have it. But it is the preferable thing to do there. Oh, nice immediate double freeze on those trippers for the ice escape from Osse, giving you the long platform. Really impressive thing was doing that without any extra beams to widen the shot. It's common for like really good any percent runners to do that with Ice Spacer. But Ice by itself, maybe it's not that much harder. I just haven't really tried it, but it looks harder. But yeah, also using Ice Beam to use the freeze the Nova to platform up to Cathedral. That is the logical way to do this. And because you have to get the Nova to crawl all the way towards you, actually, I believe it's not a valid entry item to use for hell running, as far as the logic goes. Like if ice is your only option to get through here, then I believe it wants you to have Meridia. So that is a good explanation as to why nobody went for hell runs here before a wreck ship. Osse going for the high jumpless wall jump here, the worst room in the game style of wall jump, giving it a few tries. Nearly getting it. Could use an ice stair here, actually. I'm kind of surprised he's not doing that as a backup, but generally pretty confident in doing this wall jump. It's an extremely precise one. Okay, he got it. Probably just like it's one of those swag things that I think if you have that in your repertoire, you just kind of want to do it regardless because it's cool. Charge beam at Norfair Reserve Lobby for Osse. Bressingham is basically like 3 or 4 rooms behind. Okay, Bressingham, I don't like the way that he's approaching doing this Nova freeze. This is very unnecessary to do it this way. Like, the way Osse did it, which is the way I think he should do it, is just freeze it when it's against the wall. You can wall jump. But Bress is thinking that he wants to freeze it in midair. And just stand on it as a platform. Is having issues. He did not pre-damage the Nova on this occasion to get it to freeze in one shot. And the first time he let it scroll off screen, because that Nova doesn't move off screen. Sippering it didn't affect it. I missed if Osse got anything from speed area. I was too focused on pressing and playing the game incorrectly. It's using Ice Stair to get up here in the first try, though. So, save time over Osse in this room. It kind of reminds me of like those adages of like people who can hover hookshot cave are gonna like waste time on average doing so just because they can. And sometimes they spike something good, but it like rarely actually helps you. The other thing is actually like you've got grapple to cross to the other side without even having to do the deboost. So I feel like keeping those items in mind is just like a much more practical way to approach the room, have consistency at getting it. Oh, barely made that grapple. I like seeing people use grapple to get to the wave door faster. This is another thing that's often forgotten. There's times when hovering hookshot cave is a good idea for sure. So we got glove at Croc Esync to get Dark World access. Osse is still actually. I forgot that there's a thing Osse hadn't done, and that's the one item in logic in the front of his cape. Although actually, the glove will put the back in logic, and that's very likely that the key is there to incentivize doing the front. Yeah, I forgot that was like probably the one thing Osse has not done that Bress has so far. Okay, so really interesting thing coming up here actually is they only have one way to get the pantry item, I believe, and that is the intended strat with grapple. The really scary thing about this is that if you're in a situation where you have to do this with grapple, by definition, you don't have a backup item to get back up after. Oh, that's not true, actually. It could be like... You could have like high jump and spring ball to repeat your attempts. Okay. Osse plays it fairly safely, I think. Not doing the hundo strat. Although actually doesn't have high jump, so you can't do the room exactly the same way. So yeah, just taking each ripper fairly slowly. I believe they all don't move off screen. I'm pretty sure at the very least the one on the far right doesn't. So you have to be aware from that when like judging the blind swing. High jump and spring ball means that you can skip grapple. That means I'm not very familiar with that actually. That means you can peek it, doesn't it? But I wasn't aware you could actually obtain it. Okay. Actually, I didn't know that. Nice grapple door from Osse yet again. Bress is frozen for a bit. Okay, came back soon enough. We already have seen this stuff here, so wouldn't have been too big of a deal for now. But yeah, Osse going to do back of escape with that glove. First thing, hoping for Pearl. And this probably ends up leading him to the front of escape. So he might not be as far ahead as I thought. No key back here. Okay. I mean, that does significantly increase the chances that the key is just in the map chest from his point of view. So, I mean, this play makes sense to go into the front anyways. But I'm surprised. So the keys in Dark Cross, stuff beyond the map chest is lamp locked, which doesn't really matter, but oh, Bressingham skipping pantry. Yeah, I think I like that move against someone as fast as Osse when you're not confident you're gonna hit the strat right away. Although, I feel like you should just try it once. Unless he did that. He did try it, okay. Okay. I have to, like, it's hard to watch both screens at once being solo, and sometimes I infer the wrong things from chat. Spike Cave, mentioned a while ago, is now actually doable. Doing Spike Cave before any of Dark World, I think, is pretty good. So Osse is making the logical play here, actually. He knows that like there's only one item left in front of Castle for him, and it's out of logic. He knows the key is in Dark Cross at this point, so Zelda Cell or Boomerang Chest are both lamp locked. And he knows the map is also down there, so he's just willing to like sacrifice the one item right now. Or sorry, actually I wasn't totally paying attention. He did go to Boomerang Chest and get the, okay, he's not. If he went to Boomerang Chest, it's just counting properly and not taking a risk. I think he did go to Boomerang Chest. Mitts and Height Cave. Yeah, so I think Osse did go all the way to Boomerang Chest and counted that there was nothing left. I would have thought it was an interesting play if he were to have just bailed after map chest, though. But it is kind of leaving a hole there that could be very scary later, especially in SMZ3. So red crystals were Eastern and Ice Palace. Looks like not likely to be on the docket anytime soon. Actually, no, that's not true. Jadis needs the sword for Bombos for Ice Palace. That would work. Lamp on... Oh, Fire Out is in Skullets for Breast. That's interesting, but I guess like doesn't feel confident in completing the... Oh, it doesn't have a sword to cut the curtain at the end. So Breast can't finish the dungeon, even though it's getting Fire Out. So Lamp on the pyramid for Osse. Osse opening Dark World with these really slow checks. I think the strategy here is to cover these and get them out of the way because it's like way too tempting to skip them later on. You've already done Zora, and there's and I feel like there's often some rationalization in terms of how far away you are from Pyramid Fairy, whether you want to just bite the bullet on that pyramid check or not. Because it'd be nice if you could save the pyramid ledge check until after you had red crystals, but sometimes it is just not realistic. And pyramid ledge is one of those items that can really get you. I have actually seen, oh, there's the sword in the brewery for Bress. Now can go back and finish Skullheads, although like it's a crystal, but it's only one item. And oh, interesting that he did brewery before chess game. It's I feel like that's not the best dash path. But yeah, he can go back up and finish Skullheads after this. Where is Plasma? King's Tomb. That's nice with charge. Supers end up pretty irrelevant for when we do GT. Actually, the bits from Mike Cave I just realized give you lower Norfolk access. Wait, no, do they? No, because you don't have a way to get out of the screw attack room. Because it's tall and stupid. Nice multi-bounce in Pinball Room. Might have been intentional. I often route that map chest right away. I think Osse fell on the left side. Did Osse check big key chest first? It's only better if you have a sword. Oh yeah, sword plays a part in going down to cut through the thief. If you're taking the hundo dash padding. But yeah, the long dash from east to west is what I'm thinking of. Okay, makes sense. So he got the sword from Brewery so that he could save time with the dash path that he now couldn't do because he went away from it. Okay, now Osse's doing the wrong dash lines. Because he did what I said to do, and that was wrong, apparently. He's doing Thieves' Town without the sword. I think we have Berta, so it's fine. But I'll go out of my way to like unoptimally check Brewery in situations like this, like without a sword. Has some Aria too, and a lot of health, so it's really not a big deal. Yeah, I'm not always necessarily correct about the micro ordering of the checks, but it's the thought that counts. Speaking of saving time dashing through thieves, Bressingham taking this route up to Skullwoods. Yeah, should have done spin speed. But I always forget to do that spin speed. Osse getting the bombs along the bottom of, I think those are bombs. He literally just picked them up and I didn't see, but I think those are bombs underneath where that switch is. Some unoptimal fire rod lines for Bressingham in the Mummy Hallway. So we're at least seeing two different things from each of the runners. No, wait, Brest did TT already. We're seeing new stuff though, so that's good. Nice hammer off. Although it had a lot of hearts, so it wasn't very risky to go for. But it was much faster damage output than the fighter sword in this fight. But looks like not going to get anything extra out of Skullwoods, just the crystal. Unless I miscounted. Oh, that wasn't an item, was it? I thought that was a heart piece. But it was probably the compass. They look similar if you squint. Or if you watch on the commentary stream. Oh, we knew the other item from Osse routing from first the way he did, I guess. Yeah, so that's actually a big time loss for Bress, just in terms of how the Skullwoods routing worked out. Because now has to walk back to front again. Big Key also giving some false hope that this whole walk was required. Actually, really interesting to have skipped the Big Key chest on the way in, though. I kind of get it, I guess. Like, you're just hoping to spike the second item in the back, but... since Moth can't have a key, pretty good chance that there's an item on that, but you still have Big Key and Map Compass as an option. So I got Book from Hammer Pigs for Osse, who's now is again ahead on this path, but not having done Skullwoods. Not having finished it, rather. Bressingham doing the save and quit after getting the second item. and is now going to do Hype Cave for the Mets. And then I guess going to converge on, well, it has the choice to finish South Dark World in the other direction from here. Whereas Osse saving and quitting back to Link's house to re-enter Dark World. Having already done Hype Cave wouldn't have been as efficient. So I think that's why he's leaving Skullwoods for now. Just one. Oh no, Osse has both of the items in Skullwoods already, so there's actually just no reason to do it until you've got your endgame equipment. So that's a difference that's going to be in play for the rest of the race now. And now that we have the sword, that sword also unlocks Ice Palace. Using bombos. Actually, they found the fire rod. Never mind. But yeah, it was a true statement at one point. Just noticed Bressingham. Actually, I don't want to take away too much from Osse's bomb strat here. Missed one of the Ben Gators. But still nice to only have to clean up one. I noticed Bressingham picked up the Stumpy item from the left. And that is an NMG thing. If you're planning to mirror to the dig spot after. But most of the time in Rando, I think you want to pick that up from the front. It's just kind of interesting to me because I feel like Bress has just played much more Rando for Link to the Past than NMG. So I thought it was interesting to see that choice. And I don't think I called it, but we got a high jump at Digging Game. Which actually opens Suitless Meridia. And I'm trying to think how much is on the table. The high... It is also now possible to do this stupid, upward CWJ with just high jump to get out of the square attack room if you want to do Lore Warfare now. Which I know Osse knows how to do, but I haven't looked into the trick too much, so I don't know how hard it is for him if he'd want to do that. But I feel like it'd be an interesting, out of logic play in lieu of doing Suitless Meridia. Hookshot and Freezer Chest with Ice Palace, which would have been nice and super convenient if he had the big key for the big chest already. Hookshot clip. Although, is that the third item? Counting Ice Palace is impossible for me. It's hard for me as a player generally. I feel like it's basically impossible as a commentator. But I'm gonna assume that was all three, because it seems like Osse has been thorough with the dungeon clears. Not leaving things behind. Bress getting the weight beam out of the Smith chain, which is not very consequential. Gonna take the hammer pegs. I mean, I guess hammer pegs is part of Smith chain. Taking the book from there over to desert. Yeah, I like this also because the mirror might not show up since Swamp is a green pendant. We kind of don't want that mirror to show up. Well, depending on what kind of race that you want to see. If you need a really dumb out, then maybe you do want to see that mirror. If you're most of SpeedGaming chat, you probably want to see that mirror show up. I have to get up early tomorrow, so I don't want to see it. That I think I also would have gone Ice Palace in Bress's position. Maybe he wants more, wants to try to get another sword or something for it. Like Osse just got out of Paradox. Paradox is locking, or sorry, the hookshot in ice is locking all of what Osse's doing right now. The thing is, if the mirror does show up, doing desert this way is going to be a time loss for Bress, depending on when it shows up. But basically, if it shows up before Osse chooses to do desert, it's going to be a time loss. Osse also following the book in a different way. Ether tablet, super isolated. More fall bombs on Ether tablet. So that is logical Lord or Share finally. Also getting ready for a Haripot here. Gets a super speed method immediately. At least the big key is in the front, so it's not a bigger risk of passing up the big chest to do this. And this blue potion Bress is getting probably means Ice Palace. And Osse going to do Dark Death Mountain after this. No mirror, so it has to do all the Light World stuff first and then Dark World. So probably gonna, yeah, get Spiral Cave done here. Now, the question is whether he takes the bottom Dark Death Mountain portal to be more efficient climbing up Super Bunny and getting the items, or if he goes back up to the top and enters the portal there to make sure he can open Total Rock on this trip. And check that out without the ice rod and without the mirror. Looks like he's gonna opt for the bottom portal, so if Turtle Rock has something pre-Ice Rod Hunt, we're not gonna see it for a while on his end. Yeah, I think it makes sense to not make yourself run into Turtle Rock here. At this point, having lower Norfair in logic. Gets the mirror in Hookshot Cave to be able to make that decision anyways, though. So now, I think you do open it up here and check the front at least. I'm assuming it's openable and not Quake. It is Quake. Okay, so it just didn't even matter at all. But came out on top for efficiency. Doing the route that way would have gotten no value out of doing the top portal. And now we're gonna do this Spike Cave like half an hour after Bress. I liked Bress's play to open with it. Osse kind of did a similar open Dark World with slow annoying stuff, doing a Pyramid Catfish, which gave him the lamp. I don't think Bress has that lamp yet. Might never get it. The Fire Rod mostly obsoletes it in terms of hard locking things. Yeah, Bress doesn't have it. Boulder knocking Osse out of the way of the duck. And Bress has a Fighter Sword Cold Stare to contend with. I think Osse got more calculated lineups on the Fire Rod shots. Did not have to do a lot of extra damage to finish off the fight after, but Bress putting the blue potion to use extra Fire Rods. And catching the crystal really, really low. So Osse is saving time on Desert with this mirror. It was bad in this particular instance because it left a lot of space for the crystal to rise up. The trade-off is that, like, if you're like a certain amount underneath the sprite, you catch it a bit earlier, but you lose time from the crystal having to rise up during the cutscene. Like pendants and the SM boss tokens, you always want to catch low. But for crystals, it depends on the camera, like which way the trade-off ends up being better. So retracing steps again, Bruss gonna get that mirror. Might feel like they lost some time to not having this mirror earlier. But I still think, like, doing desert when he did was pretty reasonable, but I still think there's a lot more people that would do ice in that instance. So if I make the play that fewer people are going to do, I'm going to feel like I lose time to the mirror being where it is. That mirror gives full clearable Swamp Palace as well. So we're finally getting a look at Lore Warfare. I almost forgot about Plasma. Plasma makes a huge difference on the GT check, not having to use your supers on this, and arguably not even really needing the supers for Ridley. They will speed up the fight, but Plasma is so good here because you can get these double shots on GT by crouching and aiming straight up. Assuming that you'd have both of your angle buttons mapped, which not everyone does. But there's just like other weird things you can do if you're missing an angle button. Oh, Osse gonna go for the upward CWJ, the high jump only strat. So has bombs to back this up. He thinks he's wasting too much time on it. Okay, going to abandon it. I haven't really seen much of this particular CWJ, but it looks pretty hard. Oh, Bress is really lucky to not get metal hold there. Dropping sword there. I think that was it kind of looked like, I didn't completely see, but it kind of looked like he was expecting his charge to be ready and release the sword when it wasn't charged. So Osse carefully getting rid of these Lore pirates. I think using supers would have been pretty affordable there. A little faster. It kind of looks like a nice place for a space jump a little bit after it would have been useful there, but it actually kind of looked like he was going for a free strat to climb up. Actually, no, space jump is useful in Amphitheater, so it's probably more useful in Amphitheater than whatever application you just have in Screwless First Room anyway, so it's still a good placement. Oh no, Bress failed to the hookshot clip twice. Pushed the blocks both times, now has to go back. I didn't completely see what he was doing, but if you're not like completely against the wall, your hookshot is like the full width of the tile you're on, so if you're not up against the wall, the hookshot is just going to hook the other block next to it if you try to hook clip. So I got a Ridley fight. With this beam combo, the supers actually each hit exactly as much as a charged ice plasma shot. So if you were to like interweave supers and beam shots, it'd be really easy to count this one. But just gonna basically use the one opening shot plus 29 supers, it looks like. So Bress has a skull that's completed. That is like, I want to say 2 minutes that Osse will have to spend later. I think Osse should be like a little more than 2 minutes ahead on the padding though. I think Osse is probably like 90 seconds ahead or so, maybe more. It's kind of hard to judge when they're like the parts of their path are in different games still. I think it probably is more, but I don't want to say that it's a lot more than that. Although, it looks like, is Bressingham gonna do Meyer first? No. That was an option, although Bressingham doesn't have the lamp, so actually it would have been a bit more of an attractive Meyer die for Osse. And SM is the better game for both of them. Oh, I forgot Bressingham as Wave Beam, so it's going to save time on these fights. Or on the GT fight, at least. Has fewer supers. Yeah, probably ends up using the beam substantially on Ridley too, because a bit lower super count. Might not get to 30. I don't know that he necessarily farms usurpers. Just gonna go straight for the bomb jump Not being familiar with the upward CWJ shenanigans enough, probably. It's it's like gonna take a lot of practice to want to actually attempt that seriously. Ice Rod at the end of Lord Fair. So that's a big relief off the table, actually, is that we're still missing Bow and Quake, and Gravity would be nice to have. But yeah, I think it is Bow and Quake for Go mode at this point. So starting to get towards the end of the seed here. And these seeds are running for like 10-ish minutes shorter than it's 5 to 10 depending on GT Big Key, but that amount of time shorter than most of our other tournaments in the past because of Fast Ganon being included. I still like the skill test of GT, but things like that tend to matter less when you're picking up a lot more items like you have to do in SMZ3. It does take out the luck factor of GT routing. What is Osse down here for? Smith Chain? Did Osse do hammer picks separately from... Oh, did Osse isolate? Yeah, Osse must have done hammer picks on its own, I think. Or did he not get the book? No, yeah, he got the book, because knew that was there before Bressingham picked it up. Which actually mentioned to follow the runners before I forget to do that. Those are not the right length. That's from an earlier episode. Seems to happen a fair bit. The Osse gonna get Wave Beam now. Doing Purple Chest. Can't do Turtle Rock, unfortunately. Can't capitalize on the Ice Rod without Quake to open it. Nice grass rock just at the end of the screen. It's like just when you think that you can look away from the screen for a second. So you're gonna hit the transition. You get rocked. So what is the play then? Oh, Myra's a pendant. That's why they didn't dive it. I'm silly. I forgot about that. Pod, also a pendant. It's basically the choices are pendants at this point, looks like. Just throw out the entire game because it's garbage, I think. Like we've got our separate randomizers where you have to play one of the games. You have Super Metroid Randomizer, you have Link to the Past Randomizer, and you have Combo Randomizer where you have to play both of the games. We don't have a randomizer where you have to play 0 of the games. Somebody should probably work on that. So yeah, pick your poison on Pendant Dungeon now, it looks like. It could be hard to meta this sometimes though, because like Swamp's got the most items, 6 items plus the green pendant, but it also became available a lot later, so Pod could make more sense as a defensive play here. And it's just like, you don't have to make a really bad decision on left side Swamp if you're doing Pod. Mire is just like pretty bare bones. Oh yeah, there is Meridia as well. I kind of forgot about that. Yeah, it's not unreasonable to do that either. But it's like, it's one of the highest risk plays in terms of just like you're moving slow the whole time when you're doing it. But also it being high risk like that is a reason to do it, depending on how you feel about your stature in the race. Or, yeah, just one thing I didn't think about too much with Pod, that's also bow logic. But it looks like the back is available. Just one key in the right side. So is Bressingham gonna go for Swamp Palace? Pod clip from Osse. Water walk shenanigans in a room without water. Actually, did Osse go? Osse went straight to the back from here. Did Osse find an item in the... I don't know if Osse checked the bridge chest. Oh, Osse got the big... No. Osse got big key plus... Wait, no, did he? No, big key was in the back. So... Unless he got a second item for a bridge chest, which I don't think he checked, this was just like a risk he took. He took the risk that big key might have been in the front. And he might have missed it, I think. Was that a... Did that end up being a 5 key front? I literally lost a finals match to miscalculating this, so... weighs on my mind a lot. But... I trust that he did it correctly. Generally, it's more likely that you're doing it right than you're not doing it right. I just didn't see for myself. They're actually entering swamp. A dam pull apart. Bressingham still has the Skullwoods lead. So Pod is a wash so far. I'm really impressed at that gambit if it was a 5 key front and pod, and Osse just skipped all of it, all of the front. And just had that work out with the counting. But it's not the outcome I expected. But yeah, they're both basically in here at the same time now. Question is going to be from this point onward, if Bressingham manages to avoid dipping pendant pod. It's just if there's nothing in swamp, there's a decent chance that the next stop for him is pod. So I think we want to see him get an advantage. Hypothetically, we want to see a item in swamp here. And if nothing is here as well, I'm curious if Suitless Meridia comes before Meyer for Osse. Yeah, you can't really go all in on the ped play right now. Actually, speaking of ped play though, like they don't have the bow for beating pod to follow up on ped, but Osse has not beaten Skullwoods yet. Could choose to do that and mirror to do the ped check and get that information. Big key in back of swamp, you'll have to see it. So Osse going for left side straight away, and Breast going straight to the back. Which makes me like the big key in the back for his route. Master Sword Argus just feels so gross. Not going for rod strats on phase 2. I feel like it's still worth it. Like, I feel like if you're on Master Sword, there's no downside to going for rod strats on phase 2, even if you're not confident at them. Because even if you mess up, you're still doing the damage of a Master Sword spin. Oh, that's a good point. Green Pendant turn in on the way to pod. I was thinking earlier that, like, green pendant, like if you have to pick between pendant dungeons, which one is the green pendant can be a big part of that decision. But I feel like if it's always your decision, it's a bit too predictable. If you're looking to get an edge in the race, then it might not be the best choice. Just in terms of like if you're following your opponent there, you're not getting ahead of them if it's the most likely thing they're going to do first. Oh, Brest didn't open the big chest. That makes me sad because of the advantage of having the... Hope he remembers. Right. No? It's right on screen. Oh my goodness. Hope that reminded him. Because, like, I'm really anxious to see what is in it now. Unless I didn't count the item, so maybe it's nothing. Osse going for fire rod strats. Getting a 3 cycle still saves time over... Okay, Brest remembered the big chest. That's that mystery solved. And looks like nothing in here either. Could still be green pendant. But yeah, this 3 cycle fire rod Argus from Osse. Not ideal, but it's still faster than just doing MS spins. So it's like... There's basically no cost to going for it. I mean, technically there's the magic drain for the refill at the end of the fight, but that's a lot less significant than skipping a cycle. Osse skipping the big chest, not going back in for it. It's disfavorable for the route that he chose. Interesting doing it this way, not floating to 5. I don't know if this is faster. I wouldn't have chosen to do it, but like maybe it actually is faster to do it this way, or maybe he forgot he had the flute. Meridia's suggestion actually is I would really like the idea of backdooring Meridia from finishing Swamp if Swamp wasn't green pendant. It's just like you feel like you really have to go check this first. I suppose you could leave the portal at 7. Oh. Right, because Osse already did pod, so the only value on that path was Saha. So yeah, Brest is just gonna do pod at this point. Osse did Pyramid Catfish basically as the opener for the Dark World, so has done those things already. Pyramid Bloodshed, the lamp. Which, speaking of, I believe Brest does not have that, so it is going to lose time in pod from not having it. And if I'm right, that, like, playing for the 5 key front here and risking the big key being in the front, I don't feel like that's a common play, and I don't expect Brest to route that way. Unless, was there an item in the bridge chest? Okay, sorry, there was an item in the bridge chest. So it was knowable to just go, okay, never mind. That was the piece of information I was missing. So it was not a 5 key front, but it was known that we had all the items in the front already when Osse did it. Okay, I'm back on track now for that. So ignore what I said earlier about the 5 key front. Counting is hard. It would just make quite a bit more sense than just taking a big risk like that. So neither of them can really be feeling good about this. Not having the bow means you can't you don't like the equity in the pendant doesn't have a lot of return for playing ped. There's spring ball. That's actually an excellent location for it if you're doing this. Mid-air spring ball jump is gonna make your options of getting out of Dragon a lot better. Looks like Osse is prepared to be at low health for Crystal Flash method of getting the flash suit out. Yeah, Osse doesn't have much health, but we also have Randomizer, which I guess he's going to just turn off and set up for the Crystal Flash strat anyways. But that's... Oh, right, we've got full beam combo. That can help a lot too with reducing the damage. Actually, full beam combo plus Randomizer is the reason I would have just gone for grapple kill, I think. You can like, you're gonna take very minimal damage from doing this grapple kill. Okay, so he got the wind up to convert into a blue suit, but did not get the quick grapple. And kind of what I'm wondering here for Osse is this still an effective trade-off for the extra time spent doing this grapple kill slower? Is that still better than having to do 3 pauses for the mid-air springboard jumps on the way out? Kind of musing more than critiquing for these things, because I don't actually really know, but it's interesting to think about for me. So Bress is done cleaning out Pod. Yeah, both of them probably feeling a bit bad right now for not having gotten anything, but there's also some comfort in that, like, if this much stuff turned up blank, then your opponent's probably in a similar position. This lamp is going to be frustrating for him to see after doing Pod. But at least he'll know it was in logic. Speed booster at bot swoon E-tank. That is a very annoying thing to show up in logic right now. So that locks the fairly isolated checks now. And then yeah. So can't snail clip without gravity here. You need like flash seer blue suit shenanigans to actually be able to pick these up. But I is gonna window shop the bow at Aqueduct. That's huge, and it is wow. That is holy crap. Trying to think of like a good way to get a spike suit back here. Speed was at Batu and E-tank. And You can do the crystal flash methods for getting flash suit or blue suit. Those work fine without speed, since you're getting it by interrupting the crystal flash timer. Instead. Oh, gravity's in the same pit. That is an SMZ3 classic, since that is not a thing in the Rando League. Had all the good items to make left sandpit easy, at least. I know a lot of people will complain about back when it was in logic to break free from the water line without space jump. Spring ball jump also does it there, but so the only unknown for us right now is Quake. Osse can now just with that gravity suit can just go get the go get that bow for free. Osse looking like in a really strong position right now. Unless Bress pulls Quake from here, which yeah is pretty unlikely with the volume of stuff that's in Mire. But if Quake was here, it would benefit Bress more to be towards the end of the dungeon, because there's a decent chance that even if he were to find Quake here, he would continue looking for the bow. It is probably just in Meridia, but we'll have to see. Bow was in left side aqueduct, and Osse managed to window shop it before having gravity. So if Bow had been on the right side of aqueduct, we would not have been able to see it. We would be in a very different information situation right now. So the hope for Bress coming back from this would be that Osse is gonna spend more time checking slower things in Meridia. And it not leading to Quake. Nice, getting all 3 quick drops on the way out of aqueduct. So it was kind of interesting with the gravity being in the sandpit in Meridia, but funnily enough, because of where the bow was and the fact that bow was actually the hard required thing, the gravity actually just dispelled a lot of tension, a lot of excitement that normally would have been there as a result of seeing it. So Osse not getting screwed on the way down is I mean, it's just a play of this being nothing. If you check plasma after this and it's also nothing, then you just reset instantly. You don't worry about killing the pirates. I thought he saved scum to this. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I think I just assumed that and could have been wrong. So yeah, maybe he actually should have picked it up. It's a difficult calculation to make though, after you've like already done all your SM bosses, done Modern Warfare, X-Ray, lol, X-Ray check tool. That's amazing. And that is a thing you don't pick up at this point because you've already completed all the potential uses for it. But yeah, I suppose if you can't reset out of plasma, then getting screw attack would have been correct. So where is Bress going? Bress got 2 items. I wasn't paying enough attention. It looks like Bress got 2 items out of Meyer and Lift. So that is... You're basically not gonna beat that dungeon unless one of those items was on Vidi. So thing is, it's now hard for him to expect like pendant equity out of having dipped Meyer if Ped ends up being the play. And I actually still think that doing okay, Bress doing Seatless Meridia from the front, which Mama Turtle and Watering Hole are going to be slower doing it this way. Not turning on Spazer, I think that was an accident. Yeah, just want to turn off Plasma to keep from double hitting the enemy, and killing something that you meant to freeze. Nice SJ weave through Cack Alley. Hundo strats from Osse. Oh, there was an item on Artemis, yeah. So that could just be Quake. Not sure what happened in Main Street. Did Bressingham not make it to... Did he actually not make it all the way up? He didn't make it to Everest, no. Oh, did he kill the top crab up here? He did it again! Oh my god. Okay, yeah, that is what happened. So yeah, like Ace is saying, there's another crab lower down that does move off screen. You just have to wait for as your backup. Oh, he didn't kill it last time, but I assume he let it get away from him, get too far down. So, yeah. Probably nothing in Armos here, but you do it at this point because you have to. Hopefully your bow just leads to the end of the game. think if I'm Bress here, I'm like worrying about making these mistakes against like the third place RBO runner. Who didn't actually end up doing this for the front of Meridia anyways. Is Bress going to skip Mama Turtle? And is it because of the time loss from falling down there? Interesting play. I've made plays like this before. They don't feel very good, but there's some like bang for your buck in terms of the raw time that you're cutting out if you're out here. It's just scary to do. I suppose the nice thing is that like he will find gravity here, and he won't suffer a situation where he'll like want to go back to it and have it be in a super slow way. I think I didn't finish my thought about Osse doing Skullwoods, but Osse could have done Skullwoods earlier, and like I'm surprised he didn't finish this before Meridia. I guess the swamp, the post swamp route led into back of Meridia really well, but yeah, surprised you don't finish this to get pet info earlier. But I guess like unless you find the bow, the pet info doesn't do anything. Oh, it could make bow your go mode item. So I think maybe there's some value in it. It's probably not that strong of a play, but I think there's value to having done this for the pet check. And now that he does have the bow available for ped, I think he is going to do this check. Maybe that's what he was waiting on to come here. And like getting Eastern out of the way first is smart, because like if Armus just has your Quake, then you don't waste time doing the pet check. So there's I think there's something to be said for all the options here. And it's just an E-tank on ped. So it's gotta be Helma, unless they have both skipped something else. Or do we have Pyramid Fairy now? I think we might have. Oh yeah, Eastern unlocks Pyramid Fairy. That's what we have now. But I think after that, our collective unknowns are might just be Helma actually. So this has turned into one of those awful seeds. Nice damage knockback for Osse, getting the dash out of it to avoid dropping the big bomb during the dash. I feel like getting it out of enemy knockback is a lot harder to like pull off than doing it from a hookshotting a target. I love this gravity palette though. Oh, this is a good route into Ganon and having all 7 crystals. didn't consider that. I've considered it in races before, but it's still not a thing I'm completely used to keeping track of the info for. Oh no, we haven't seen the classic speed locked checks. I forgot about those. So we've got waterway, we've got climb sweepers. I don't know that it should have been out for Bressingham, because Meyer is the big sink for him right now. And actually, like, that means every pendant dungeon was incorrect unless it was on, unless Quake was on Helma. Oh, I really like that that hit on Ganon Osse just got, where you get the head off, you get the spin right before you get hit by a fire bat, and it just completely cancels the animation, but you still get the damage off. You generally don't want to get hit during MS Silverless, but we tend to have a lot more health in the combo rando. It's a single G for Osse, having completed one of the games. And now we just have to get the... I want to say it's the Dragon boss token from Turtle Rock. Nice Coliseum dash line from Bress. He did try to reduce get Dragon's health down a bit here. Doing a full beam combo shot and then a super. You can actually do the first beam shot like that and then like turn around and get a double hit as Dragon's going up the other diagonal on the way out. That's 2,700 damage. There's actually more than is it more than no, it's not more than the Spark plus X Factor does, but it's still pretty good. Not like it really matters with grapple, but mock trade party on the way out. And Osse cleaning up the speed checks. And I think Bress actually forgot that speed was an option for their way back here. As you do when you just recently got an item. Nice speedball from Osse, almost getting all the side hoppers dead for the door. Bressingham gets the bow, which I don't remember if they had seen on the way in or not. Probably not, otherwise they probably would have picked it up. Is Quake at Waterway? It is. Oh, okay. That is go mode for Osse at 229.44. That is Meridia was the entire answer at the end of it. All of the pendants were completely bait. You got all three to choose from, and it was all Meridia. And I think it'd be hard even for Osse to feel secure about a go mode situation like that, because there were like four things. There were four bad choices to make, and only one of them led to everything. That is very swingy, huge variance. Your opponent could have like done anything, really. A lot of options. A lot of ways for your opponent to have done something better than you did. And Osse sparking up the climb, which probably still worth it. Yeah, had to bomb out the left side of the escape shaft to get their space, but it's like you should be able to get a short charge going in and not have to bomb that out. It's quite a bit faster, but it probably still saves time bombing the wall open. I'm not sure, but I like seeing that play anyways, just because you rarely get to see it. So we have a Trinex and a Mother Brain for Osse to do before finishing. And assuming an Osse win out of this, he'll be in finals for SGL once again. And he'll be facing the winner of the other semifinal, which is Maniacal versus Apathy Duck, which is midnight on Thursday night, Eastern, I believe, if I read it right. Is Osse doing a Insula deletion? Oh, he's doing some area magic refill. Right. This makes sense. It's like, oh, I can't actually spawn the Samaria block that you want me to. Well, I guess you deserve a refund. Basically scamming the game, but I think it's deserved because of all the Europa lotteries that people have lost over the years. So yeah, we're gonna have that semi-final match Thursday night, early Friday morning, and see who Osse ends up facing, most likely. I will point out that Osse lost to Duck in groups last year in SGL. And then beat him in bracket afterwards. Although that bracket race was really close, I think. So could be an exciting rematch to have that for the finals. Maniacal has made it as far as semis previously, so that'd be a good matchup too. Bressingham having a bit of an Igor party back here. Has the resources to deal with it without it being a problem. Actually, I kind of think they designed the like amounts of frames that the enemies are vulnerable for in those situations and the knockback times. I think they designed those really well to be as effectively annoying as possible. Time grifted by greenies. Yeah, we'll see if Osse takes championship for the third time. Really, I think like any of this Final Four was up for grabs for winning though. Osse's dominance has been like really crazy over the years. Even with the random element of Randomizer, there's something unique about the combo Randomizer that requires such a wide skill set, and he just checks so many of the boxes for across the board that it's hard to beat him. It's a lot of matchups in SMZ3, and this I think especially comes to play if you're just playing weeklies, where you go in being stronger at, like, you know, really knowing one game much more than the other, and you hope that you can make that work for you better in the seed. You kind of play that kind of game, but when you get really far, really deep into competition, like there's a lot of requisite skill that you need in both games. You just really cannot afford to have weak areas. But I feel like the fact that it's very hard to get the necessary breadth of skill makes it a good playing field. Like I feel like that's one of the reasons that a lot of people who aren't really into either game end up getting into it. This is like they're like a lot of times you're playing against somebody that is not gonna know things that you know. There's just so many things to know. Nice Master Sword Trinex cleanup. Although I wasn't paying a lot of attention to phase 1. I don't see any ice on the floor, so that's probably very successful. Phase 2 is really nice. Got the double spin, got the hammer hits really quickly. And, of course, the last sword on Trinex after already having beaten Ganon. I kind of like that too, because it makes it more of a more of a decision when you're doing Ganon. So Bress is going to get Koboed before the finish, at least. But Bress essentially chose Meridia last out of the 4 options. Osse managed to skip Meyer, and I think Meridia from the back ended up being much faster with where gravity was. And also Bress had some execution and or knowledge issues, I guess, climbing Main Street. So kind of all added up at the end to make this difference a lot wider than it was before. Like this ended up being a lot more than the Meyer difference. But that's go mode for Bress at 240. 11 minutes behind. Kept it a nice race for most of it. Which I think is the main thing, but it's like, I guess my experience with that coming out of a loss is you don't know what was going on in your own race because you weren't watching it. So the finish time at the end is gonna look like most of the story, and it really isn't. But yeah, I think Bress had a pretty good shot with this one. Just like had to make different decisions. It was like doing Meridia earlier than most of the pen is the pretty tall order there. But I feel it was not completely unreasonable for someone to decide to do that. I should also shout out. No, I did shout out Osse's 43, like at the start of the stream, I think. Yeah, I think I actually already did that. But low 43 now. Lots of rapid improvement from being part of the SM any percent in SGL as well. And I think he still has a match of that. Actually, is that today? Yeah, I think Osse is actually playing SM any percent later today against Sloters. I think that's in 2 hours from now. And I know Bressingham was in the gold bracket for that tourney as well. I don't think he's still in it, but I want to check to be sure. That's down to like top 8 right now, basically. Yeah, Bressingham was out at 13th. Lost to Scott Troyd. Just before he would have met up with Osse, actually. No stand-up. Stand-up would have saved time, but I'm not sure what he had the... Not sure what his health was. Alright, we've got Osse in the escape. About to wrap it up. See how far Bress can get into Turtle Rock. I guess maybe Pokies too. Actually, maybe not. The pipes take a while. And Osse going to close it out with an official time of 2:45.54. GG's. And we'll be seeing him in the finals against Maniacal or Apathy Duck. Should be coming up on... I think there's time slot set aside for that next weekend. October 1st and 2nd, I think. Bressingham has forfeit. I believe is going to pass on the interview from what he said. But we'll have Osse in here shortly. Alright, welcome Osse. GG.
Hey, Esther. GG.
That's our bad seed, huh?
Yeah, this one's pretty terrible. Like, I even made it worse at the start with how I decided to route the start by getting boots last, and then after that getting morph just in CAC. So started off rough and didn't get much better.
Yeah. Try to think where it passed over to you being in the lead again. This might have been just like small differences in execution. I'm not sure. I guess one of the big things at the end was Bress made the Meyer play and you didn't, and he routed Meridia front to back and you didn't, and it worked out much better from the back, and he had some issues in the front. But yeah. How bad were you feeling in go mode? Because I think there were a lot of ways that your opponent could have found items faster.
I think finding the Quake, I wasn't feeling too bad about that. That's, you have to route Meridia to get speed, and then also do the speed checks, and that's possible, but it's not super likely.
Okay, that's a pretty
so it's
good
like
point.
You have to do two bad things to come out ahead on your end game routing here.
Yeah. I guess if you do Meridia early, then it's like you got your bow, but then maybe you have the freedom to not feel like you have to double down on speed because you got the bow. But if you didn't get the bow, maybe it's more likely you follow speed all the way to Quake. It's complicated to think about.
Yeah, and there's also like two different logic paths, where the other one was hookshot to mirror, and that got us into swamp, but then nothing in swamp. So that's how I talked myself into clearing swamp. So I wanted to follow mirror.
Yeah. What was the reason you chose to do pod first?
So before I found Pearl, we had a lot of suitless Meridia items, except for high jump, and then high jump showed up pretty early in Dark World. So I wanted to do that like shortly after Thieves. And then pod was just a way to walk out of pod and go to the back of Meridia. And then I just talked myself into swamp while I was in pod.
I see, so it didn't like end up mapping out that way in the end. You changed your mind, but then you had
other order wasn't better.
You had the swamp walk out and then go to
the swamp walk out to Green Pendant and Graveyard Ledge and then Portal.
Right.
Also missed the big chest and swamp, I think.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah. I was thinking about how I was going to do my next piece of routing and just forgot about it.
Oh, okay. It
seemed
seemed
like
it could have been reasonably intentional, but it looked like you were being pretty thorough elsewhere. I missed the second item in front of pod, so I thought you were like making the 5 key play, but after I realized that you were just like being thorough in every dungeon, figured maybe that was the one corner that you cut. I guess you didn't mean to.
Yeah. I did autopilot over to both side pod, but it had an item there, so maybe I wanted that anyway. But just suddenly I had to mimic clip when I wasn't really ready for it. Didn't really plan on wanting to check Bowlock pod, since I needed just bow and quake.
It was just seemed like it was hard not to do while you were there, but also bow logic is kind of a deterrent maybe. So moving on to finals to face either Maniacal or Duck. How do you feel?
Both strong opponents. I don't know. It'll be fun to see the matchup between them. See who comes out on top.
Yeah. I was thinking a bit about you losing to Duck in groups last year. You also took a loss in groups this year as well, but those were some crazy races with you and Duck last year, so that could make a scary finals from that. But Maniacal would be a strong matchup too. Just have to see. I mean, you've been sitting on the title for a number of years now, so yeah, I'm not sure if I had anything more to ask.
I can comment that the seed felt a lot like I was playing any percent with a lot of the rooms. Just no movement items. And maybe having played so much of it lately, felt like it was right there doing a run again.
Interesting. I tried being in that grind set at one point, and it just made me start to accidentally skip items and not route ammo properly, but it seemed to work okay for you at least. Like the SM improvement has been pretty good lately from that tournament. But yeah, look forward to finals. I think that is gonna have time set aside on the weekend of the 1st and 2nd. I'm not sure if the runners are like restricted to doing that time, but seems like probably. Well, actually, fine. The other semis is on the Thursday night anyway, so there's not much wiggle room there, I guess. But yeah, look forward to that, everyone. Maniacal and Duck Thursday at midnight Eastern, Thursday night. And thank you to Ace Zero for tracking. And thanks for putting on a good race. And we'll see you all for the upcoming matches. Thanks, everyone.